Hi everyone, my name is Mary and welcome back to Quinn Ink. Today in part 2 of the Dragonfly Cardigan, I'm going to go over some measurements that I didn't go over in the last video. So I measured the front, and this is the front of the cardigan, as you can see, because I have two dragonflies. The front is going to measure 12 inches wide, and it's going to measure 23 inches in length. I already did the measurements. These are approximate, and if you want the same measurements, you're going to do 40 foundation single crochets plus 2 chains at the beginning to start the riddle stitch right here. So this would be your bottom right here. And then as for the back, I did 24 in width and 23 in length. So then they're both the same length. And to get those measurements, you're going to do 82 foundation single crochets plus 2 stitches at the beginning to start your riddle stitch down here. Now also today in this video I am going to do a single crochet border all the way around the front of the cardigan. The back already has the single crochet, as you can see. Very nice and cute. Sorry, let me pull my light a little bit closer. So this is going to be the foundation single crochet. Okay, so let me grab my yarn and my hook, and I'm going to show you how to do the single crochet all the way around the border. Okay, so I'll be right back in just a moment. Okay, so I grabbed my yarn and I grabbed my 5.5 millimeter hook, and I'm just using the same blueberry yarn to go around this fronts of my cardigan. Now you can start in any corner that you would like. You can also start in the middle if you would like, and start at the top and start at the bottom. I'm going to start right here in this corner because this is a stitch. So I'm just going to put my hook right into here, and I'm going to pull my yarn right through just like this, and I'm going to tie it to join to my cardigan. You can use any join method that you would like or that you would choose. I'm going to put my hook back in there, grab my working yarn, and pull up a loop. I'm going to chain 1. Now I'm doing a single crochet border, so I'm going to go back in here. I'm going to grab my working yarn and pull up a loop, 2 loops on your hook, grab your working yarn and pull through. That is a single crochet. Now when turning the corner of any corner, you're always going to put 3 single crochets. So we already have 1. Here's number 2. And this one is going to be number 3. Now we're going to be working on the side of the cardigan. Now you can go into any spacing that you see fit along your cardigan. What I'm going to do is I'm just going to put 1 single crochet into every single spacing that I see all the way along the bottom. Now one more thing I would like to mention about doing the single crochet border all the way around your cardigan when you have finished and you have found the lengths and the width that you would like. This is an option. You do not have to do this. I am doing this, one, because the yarn is very thin and I'm looking for more of a secure, let's see here. I'm looking for more of a secure stitching. So when I decide to sew up the side of my cardigan like this, I actually have stitches I can go into. So when you are working on the side of your border, the side of your front and your back, making a single crochet border, make sure you have the same amount of stitches for each piece. And I am just going to make 1 single crochet. Even in big spaces like this, I'm only just going to put 1 single crochet right into there. I am not going to put 2 single crochets or any of that stuff. 1 single crochet into every stitch. Okay, so I hope you kind of get the gist of it. Going right into the spacings along the side. Something like this, I would put one in here. And one right into that spacing. Okay, so I'm going to finish, go all the way down until I get to the end. It'll probably be a second for you. For me, it'll be a few minutes. So when I get down here at the bottom, I'll show you what stitch you're going to go into and how many single crochets. But remember, if you want to just go it out on your own and just do it all the way, just remember 3 single crochets into every single corner on your front and back. Okay, so I'll be back in a few minutes. Alrighty, so I'm back and I have one more stitch. I'm actually going to put 2 in that stitch right there, and I'm going to tell you in just a moment why. So the reason why I ended up putting 2 in that stitch right there is to make these stitches 56 stitches. I ended up counting the back and I found out I had 56 stitches before I got to the 3 single crochets. So I wanted to make sure I had 56 stitches, so that way both the front and the back are even stitches when we're sewing up the sides. Now we're going to put 3 single crochets, excuse me, right into this very last stitch right here. 3 single crochets. Now I'm on the bottom, as you can see right here, and I am going to put a single crochet right into that hole, excuse me, spacing. Now the reason, so when I started making my Dragonfly crochet, I ended up chaining instead of doing foundation single crochets, and so what I'm going to do is in this spacing right here, I'm actually going to add 2 single crochets. I'm going to go right into this spacing right here, and I'm going to add 2 single crochets. And I'm going to do this all the way to the end. And then I'm going to turn the corner, and all I'm going to do is I'm going to single crochet 56 stitches. Now yours might be a little bit different from mine. So if you made yours exactly the same size as mine, then you're going to have 56 on each side. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to finish the bottom, turn the corner. When I get to this stitch right here, this is where I'm going to put 3 single crochets, and then I'm going to work along the side, and where I am going to meet you will be at the very top when we have this very last stitch to do right here. So I will meet you 2 before the end, okay? And I will see you when I get back. Hi everyone, I am back. I know I said I would meet you 2 before the end. I wanted to come back onto camera and pretty much take you through the single crochet on the top. So I already did the 3 double crochets into the corner stitches right here. Sorry if my camera is acting a little funky today. I'm not sure what's going on with the color. Okay, so if you're on the very top and you have your single crochet, chain 1, and double crochet, I am going to suggest pretty much single crocheting into every single one of them. So right into the stitch that you just saw, the single crochet, the chain 1, the double crochet right there, the single crochet, the chain 1, and the double crochet. Another thing that I would also like to point out is in my last video, if you saw it, I was talking about the double crochets right here on top of the riddle stitch. I told you to double crochet into the single crochet, skip the double crochet, 2 into the chain, 1 into the single crochet. Now that is an option that you can do. What I ended up doing, I started looking back on my notes, and I was looking at the stitches. You actually can just double crochet into the double crochet, the chain 1, the single crochet. So pretty much every stitch all the way across. You do not have to put 2 double crochets into the chain 1 and then skip the double crochet into the single crochet. So if that is something you would like to do, you can. Since I was on the subject matter of that, same with the single crochet, you will be just single crocheting into every single stitch and into the chain 1. Okay, so I will meet you over here 2 stitches before the end and we will move on. Okay everyone, I'm back and I'm actually 2 stitches before the end. So all we're going to do is, sorry if it gets dark and light, I'm not sure what's going on with my camera. So 2 stitches, so I just single crocheted into the single crochet, and now this is the chain 1. So I'm going to single crochet into the chain 1, and then this is the double crochet. I'm going to single crochet right into there, and then into this first stitch that you see right here, I'm just going to put my hook right in there and do a slip stitch like this. Pull through and pull through. Okay, so that is how you finish off your cardigan, and then you're just going to grab your scissors. You can find them real quick. Grab your scissors, and then, whoop, don't cut your cardigan. Cut your yarn. There we go. And then pull through and pull on nice and tight. Okay. One more thing I'd like to add in the corner right here, I ended up adding 2 single crochets into one stitch and 2 single crochets into the other stitch. And the reason why I did that was so I can get to my 56 stitches. Okay, I'm going to grab my tape measure and I'm going to show you how to measure the spacing for the sleeve. Okay, so I'll be right back in just 1 second. Okay, so I grabbed my tape measure and I grabbed a stitch marker. This is going to be where I stitch off. I'm going to put this into a stitch of where I need to stop when I'm sewing my when I'm sewing my cardigan up the side. Okay, so if you already have your measurements for how long you want your sleeve to be, that means from shoulder to armpit, and then give yourself between at least 1 inch or 1 inch back if you want it to be more tight or loose. So this will be tighter, this would be looser. To me, mine is 9 inches. I want it a little bit looser, so I'm going to go with 10 inches. So you can put the 10 inches on the very top right here. Okay, and then you just pull your sleeve down like this, and then you find the stitch. I'm going to say right here, this is going to be my stitch where the 10 inches is. So this is where I'm going to stop. So I'm going to put a stitch marker right in there, and then I'm going to count the stitches so I know. So I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, excuse me, there's a hair, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, and then the top one will be 24. That's 24 stitches. I'm going to skip. I'm going to grab my pen and paper. As you can see, I've written everything down, and I'm going to write down 24 stitches skip. Sleeve. This lets me know this is how many stitches I am going to skip for each front and each back. And as you can see, these were the approximate measurements. So for the back, I had 24 width, 23 in length, 82 plus 2 stitches. So these are the approximate. These ones are not approximate, these are my own measurements. These are the measurements that I was trying to accomplish. And then of course 56 stitches on the side when single crocheting around the front and the back. Okay. I always like to have a pen and paper handy when I'm doing this type of stuff. So now that I have this marked off, I can finally put this off to the side for a moment, and I can grab my back. So this is, so this is my back, and this is the one where I'm going to count 24 stitches, so I know exactly where I need to stop. I'm going to grab another stitch marker, open this one up. I'm going to start at the very top right here where the 3 single crochets are right here, and I'm going to start at the very top right there. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, and 24 is right here. Okay, so that's 24. Oop, there we go. That's 24 stitches. And that is where I'm going to stop. This will be my sleeve. It looks a little bit large, and that's okay. It is going to be large. At the top, you'll sew at the top as well, but we'll get to that in a minute. Here we go. So then I like to take the 2 and make sure that they are even. Whoa! I grabbed the wrong part. Here we go. Okay, so this looks like they're pretty even, which is fantastic. A lot of times I like to take one out like this and clip it to the other one. That way I know these are the 2 stitches. Okay. Now, there are many ways that you can sew up your sides. One of the ways that I stated was taking a ball of yarn and some needles and just whip stitching the side. That is one way you can do this. If you want a more decorative way, you can single crochet this. It will give you this ridge pattern. It's very interesting. I think I'm going to do the single crochet method. And what I'm going to end up doing is pulling out each one of these stitches. So I know this one, stitch marker, excuse me. I'm going to put it into both of those stitches. I'm going to grab some yarn and I'm going to join. And the join method that I like to use is going to be the tie method. That just pretty much means you're just going to tie it to join it. If you'd like, you can tie it twice. Single crochet method. Now I can pull this one out. Very easy and very simple to do. Put your hook back into the single crochet. Let us pull out some more yarn. Grab your yarn, pull up a loop, chain 1. You're going to go right back into that same stitch. You're going to make a single crochet. You're going to go back into the first stitch, the front stitch, and the back stitch from the back, from the front and to the back, which is quite funny. And all you're going to do is make sure when you do this, you grab one stitch, pull back, and make sure you grab the one from the back. I'll go in a little bit so you can see this. And you'll just pull that loop through the stitches. And we're just going to single crochet. This is the front, and this stitch is the back. Sorry, I have my tail in the way. And you're just going to single crochet. So this is the front of the cardigan. This one's the back. As you can see, if we look back here, there'll be this stitch, as you can see right there. That stitch tells you you've already single crocheted that. So you want to go into the next stitch and pull up a loop and single crochet. This is actually going to give you, I'm going to pull back a little bit, a ridge stitch. And it's very cute. Now if you choose to do the ridge stitch, you can do that stitch. Just take your time when doing this single crochet border. Again, I'm really sorry about my lighting. If it seems like it's too bright or too dark, I am very sorry. I'm using an older camera, and so this camera is very fickle when it comes to lighting. It doesn't like too much light, or it doesn't like enough light. I've been trying to figure out what I'm doing wrong with my camera and how to fix it. Okay, so this is how you do the single crochet ridge into the front stitch and into the back stitch. And this is the reason why I liked doing the single crochet all the way around the front and the back pieces. This way you actually, oh, we have a little bit of blue in there. I wonder if it's because of the cardigan. This is the reason why I did the single crochet all the way around, is to make sewing or single crocheting the front and the back of the cardigan. So I'm going to finish this, and when I'm done I will come back and show you what it looks like. I'll do it one stitch before the end down here so I can show you, I can show you what stitches to go into. Okay, so I'll probably do it maybe about 3 stitches before the end. Okay, so I will see you in just a few minutes. Okay, I'm back and I reached the end. So now you have 4 stitches before the end. So I'm going to crochet into 1, 2, 3. As you can see, we're crocheting right into those 3 single crochets from the previous. I normally crochet into the first 2 single crochets and do not single crochet into the very 3rd one. So I'm going to do that real quick. This is my last stitch, single crochet, and then I do a slip stitch back into that same single crochet to secure it. And I finally grabbed my little tiny scissors. I'm just going to cut my yarn and pull right through. Okay, so that's how you single crochet along the bottom, and then of course you can also put your strings into your single crochet as you're single crocheting like I just did. So all I have to do is just take my little scissors and then just cut and not have to worry about trying to sew in my strings. Okay, so that is how you single crochet along the side of your cardigan. And I'm going to flip it so you can see this a little bit better. And so as you see, you have this really neat ridge going along the bottom. Okay, so I feel the next part that we're going to do is we're going to single crochet the very top of the cardigan where the neckline is. Now some people can single crochet all the way to the end. You don't want to do that. You actually want to leave a gap right here so that way it flaps open. you will be not single crocheting, you will be doing a border. So when you put this on, the two fronts may not come together like this. They may be a little bit open. That's where your border will come into play. So then everything will come together, and you'll also have buttons on your border so you can button it. I might make this a two-parter, a three-part little series, since there is always so much to do with a cardigan. So what we're going to do is we're going to single crochet the top right here. And normally what I do is I try to line everything up like this, okay? And then I get to the end right here, and I at least try to see what 10 stitches look like. So I'm going to say 1, 2, 3, we'll make this 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10 from this point. Now if you feel this gap is not wide enough, you can always add more stitches. As you can see, be very careful because then you will not have very much to crochet. So I'm going to do 10 stitches. So I'm going to do that one more time. And on the back right here, I'm going to place a stitch marker right here. Let me go grab my stitch markers. I'll be right back. Okay, so I'm back. I ended up losing my stitch marker, so I got a new one. So we're going to try this one more time. So you're just going to line it up here, and then I like to just move it across. As you can see, you will have more stitches on your front than you will on your back. What I would suggest doing is, when we line this up, you're going to count stitches from your back portion. Okay, so we're going to put a stitch marker right here to let me know this is the end, and this is where I do not want to crochet. I'm going to grab one more stitch marker. Okay, and from this point, this is where I'm going to count. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. And 10 is where I'm going to stop, right here. So this is where I'm going to single crochet to. So I'm going to grab my hook, and I'm going to go right into this top stitch right here, and then I'm going to go into this stitch on the back. I'm going to grab my yarn, and I'm going to pull right through those stitches, and I'm going to do the tie-on method one more time. You will do this for both fronts. We're going to turn the cardigan, so this way you'll be working this way instead of that way. You can work either way you would like. You can also work where the stitch marker is to this side. I'm going to go back into this stitch. I'm going to pull up a loop, pull up another loop, and I'm just going to start, I'm going to single crochet back into that stitch. I'm going to go into this stitch. I'm going to grab this stitch right here. Looks like it's being a little bit fiddly. There we go. I'm going to grab this stitch and single crochet. Now because these are more stitches on the front than the back, and this one is a little bit bigger, you can single crochet 2 of those stitches, so one of these, okay, and then you can go back into this single crochet from the back and grab the second single crochet on the front. That single crochets 2 of them into one stitch. That is one thing that you can do since you have a bunch of single crochets on the front, then on the back of your back. So I'm going to go back into this stitch. I'm going to go into this one right here, and I'm going to make a single crochet. I'm going to go back into this stitch, grab a second single crochet from the front, pull up a loop, and there you are. So you have 2 single crochets into that 1 stitch. I will do this one more time. Grab this stitch, grab this stitch. Looks like that one was okay. We'll do this one. This one's a little bigger. So you go into this stitch, into one of the single crochets from the front, pull, single crochet. Go back into this stitch, grab the second one right here, and pull through. So when you turn it, it actually looks like you're just regular single crocheting, whereas on the back you have 2. Not very many people are going to notice this unless they look really close on your cardigan, which I don't think they will. So all I'm going to do is single crochet to this stitch marker. Okay, and when I am done, I will come back and show you what it looks like. Okay everyone, I'm back. This is the stitch marker. This is the first one. This was the second one. So I'm almost to the very end. And I have a few more stitches to crochet. Now one thing I wanted to do was talk about the border. There are many different ways you can do a border. You can do single crochet like we're doing now. You can also do double crochet if you would like. You can do patterns. Oh, and this very last one I'm going to do 1 and then I'm going to do 1 more. So I'm not going to do the 2 stitches like we were doing. There we go. And that is finished. I'm not going to slip stitch because if I decide to do a hood or a collar, I don't want that slip stitch in there. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to grab my scissors and I am just going to cut off my yarn. And wrap it, and then I'm going to pull right through and make it tart. And then you can just remove these stitch markers when you're done. So as I was saying, I would leave this one for your second front. My second front is actually not finished. I'm still working on it, that's why this part is not done. So the next thing that we want to talk is borders. Now you can do many different borders. You can do a single crochet border like we have been doing here. You can do a double crochet border such as this. And what I'm talking about with borders, I'm actually going to turn the cardigan. I'm going to pull my camera out and I'm going to show you exactly what it looks like. Okay, so this is the front. Sorry about all the junk on the side. And this will be the second front. Okay, and then it will open up like this. Okay, and this is where your neck is going to be at the top here. That's why I left this one, because this is where the next border is. This will be where your neck is. Okay, where my fingers are. Now a border is what goes around the whole entire cardigan. It goes around the bottom like right here. It goes around the bottom front. It goes around the sides. I always try to think about a side border so I can put buttons on it. Double crochet is actually really good for putting on buttons, as you can see with it scrunched together like this. You can actually sew on buttons anywhere between the rows or on top of the double crochet. Single crochet is also very good as well. It's very tight knit, and you can put buttons on that too. You can also do half double crochet. Another thing you can also do with borders is you can do patterns, and what I mean by patterns is something like the riddle stitch is also a pattern. Double crochet is a pattern. So these are pattern stitches. These are basic. The double crochet, single crochet, and half double crochet are pattern basics. The riddle stitch is more like an actual experienced to advanced type pattern, because it makes this beautiful design is what we're looking for. I wouldn't really call it advanced or experienced. These are very simple and very easy ones. So I am going to think of a border to do for the cardigan. I'm also going to finish the front, the second front, so I'm going to be doing the same thing we did on this side. So we are going to end the video here, and in part number 3 actually, we're going to be doing the border and sewing on buttons. Hopefully we have time to do a hood and a collar. I will show you both of them so you can decide if you want to do one or the other. Okay, so until next time, this was the Dragonfly Cardigan part 2, and I hope you enjoyed the video. Please don't forget to drop me a like and subscribe if you haven't already. And I will see you next time in part number 3. Have a wonderful day. Bye-bye.